As we move through the Gospel of John, I want to point out to you that John's Gospel is structured in a particular way. There are signs that Jesus does which point to his identity as the one who has come down from above, who is the Messiah, the Son of Man that God has sent. And there are also what are called the I am sayings of Jesus. We've talked about one, I am the light of the world in chapter 9, chapter 8, verse 12, and chapter 9. And then in chapter 10, it's I am the good shepherd. In chapter 11, it's the remarkable story of the raising of Lazarus and Jesus saying, I am the resurrection and the life. Our verses for today are from that remarkable story, chapter 11, verses 25 through 26, where Jesus says, it says, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? Well, Jesus spoke those words to Martha, whose brother Lazarus, who was a friend of Jesus, along with their sister Mary. And a little later on, just as Martha had greeted Jesus and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died, Mary comes out and says the exact same words to Jesus, and Jesus sees the whole crowd and everyone weeping and crying. And this is the chapter where we have that shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept, which shows his humanity, it shows his compassion, his empathy, his ability to feel with his friends the loss of their brother and his friend. And that's such an important aspect of being a Christ follower. Simply being able to feel with the pain, the hurting that other people are going through. And Jesus speaks those remarkable words, I am the resurrection and the life. Now, it doesn't mean that we will never physically die, because obviously we all physically die. So when Jesus says, those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, it's not that we won't physically die, it's that we will be raised, just as Jesus is raised, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep, as we read elsewhere in the New Testament. All of us have experienced grief and loss. All of us have had to say goodbye to people who were very, very significant and special in our lives. The hope that we rest on as Christians, though, is that we will see one another again, because God raised Jesus from the dead. Jesus, who raised a little girl who had died and raised Lazarus, who has been raised himself, that gives us hope that one day, even though we physically die, we too will share in the resurrection, and we will be with God and with our loved ones who have gone before us in the faith forever. And that is a very, very comforting